At tournaments, each team will have access to timeouts. However, they are almost never used. The timeout is an important tool to use, so let's discuss when to call them and how to do it. If you want to read the rules for timeouts, there's a link in the description and you will find the relevant information in section 7. There are 4 different kinds of timeouts: team, injury, technical, and spirit. Starting from the bottom of the list, a spirit timeout is the least common one. A spirit timeout is called by the captains of either team when spirit of the game is not being followed to an egregious manner. In other words, if a fight breaks out, there's a stoppage of play until it is resolved. Ultimate is a sport that regards ethics highly, so this should not be an issue that we encounter. After a spirit timeout, play is resumed with the same procedure as a team timeout, which we will cover later. Next is a technical timeout, which used to be called an equipment timeout. Any player on the field may call a technical timeout to address an issue which will severely hinder the game. Examples of this could be a broken disc, a dangerous hole on the field, a player wearing the wrong color jersey, etc. Some common things which do not allow you to call a technical timeout would be untied shoes or a minorly bent disc. During the timeout, all players must stay exactly where they are, though you can do simple things such as tie your shoelaces. Sideline players should do the legwork of resolving the technical issue if possible. Once the issue is resolved, the game will continue with no adjustment to the stall count. Next is the injury timeout, which stops play to address the health and safety of the players. Any person on the injured person's team may call the timeout. An injury timeout can cause the game to be reverted if the injury changed the other player's behaviors on the field and the captains agree to do so. All non-injured players who are not providing medical assistance should remain where they are during the timeout. They should wait until after the injured player has been addressed, but before play resumes, before moving to their appropriate starting position if it was determined that a play must be reversed. The injured player must come off the field and be substituted, or else their team will be penalized with a loss of a team timeout and possibly a turnover. Per Rule 8A2, whenever either team makes a substitution during a point, the opposing team has the option to match an equal number of substitutions. It is customary for the player subbing in to touch the ground when they have reached the location previously held by the injured person, so that to signify they are ready to play. If the injured person was the handler, the stall does not reset. Once the issue has been fully resolved, play will continue with the stall count increasing by 1. Last is the team timeout. Your captain will inform everyone at the start of every tournament what the rules are for that event. For a 90-minute game, it is normal to have 2 teamouts per team per half. If you do not use both of your timeouts before the half, they are lost forever. Another common variation is to have 1 timeout per half plus a floater. The floater means that the team may call a second timeout in either the first or second half, but not both. Officially, a timeout lasts 70 seconds, but the tournament organizer may choose to extend that if they want. During play, the only person allowed to call a team timeout is the person who is in possession of the disc. They should shout "timeout" while making a T with their hand in the disc so that the call is unambiguous. If a timeout is called when the team has none remaining, then they will be penalized 3 seconds on the stall count. This could cause an immediate turnover if that 3-second penalty causes the stall to reach or exceed 10 seconds. To resolve a team timeout, the disc must be placed at the foot of the handler. Then both teams can break off into their own groups. The same 7 players must return to the field after the timeout, and the same person who called the timeout must be the one to pick up the disc. The offense will go to their positions first, and the 6 non-handlers can position themselves anywhere they want on the field. After the offense is set up, they must stay in place, and the defense has 20 seconds to quickly discuss and set up as well. If the same person on defense returns as the mark, there is a +1 second penalty on the stall count, capped at 9. If a different person returns to the mark, then the stall will reset to 0. A timeout may also be called between points before the pull by either team, but that simply extends the time before the next pull. For any form of a timeout, it is important to have clear communication before resuming play. Before tapping the disc back into play to resume the game, you should loudly declare the stall and then count down 3, 2, 1. This way, all players have a fair understanding of the game state and no one feels like they have been cheated. If the stall count is rising and you don't have a clear throw to make, it's a great idea to call a team timeout to clear your mind and prepare a safe and effective reset. Talk to your captains for more ways to integrate calling timeouts into your play.